strategy is pretty simple. We're just changing it to unit form. So we take out the decimal, put in a place value, okay? So for unit form, I'm going to change this to 15 tenths. We've done this before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Divided by 5 would equal how many tenths?
3.
3 tenths. So go ahead and write that down. And then we need to change that to standard form. So then you'll write 3 tenths in standard form with the decimal. Yes. Okay, now you've got a couple. You've got one on your problem set like this. You've got one on your exit ticket like this. So this one's pretty important. Okay? Take a look at the next one. I don't know the answer to 105 divided by 5, so I can't just change it to unit form. You got to focus. You can't be looking at each other. You're going to miss something really important. So in order to change this to unit form, we're going to use a mental math strategy. Have you ever heard of decomposing a number?
Yep.
Okay, so I've done it like this before. I've said, okay, what would I have if I took out the tenths? What would I have?
1.
I would have 10 tenths, wouldn't I? Yes? And then what do I have left over? What do I have left over? 5 what? Hundreds. So go ahead and write that down. You've got room. So I'm decomposing it. Now, if I add 10 tenths plus 5 hundredths together, I'll get 1 and 5 hundredths. Did you write this down, Zadie? Okay. So now I'm going to show you the way to write this. And we're writing down what we would think in our mental math strategy, okay? So right up here, I'm going to put 10 tenths divided by, what's my divisor? 5. And actually, I'm going to have to erase this or else we're not going to be able to do our problem. So I'm just going to change that to an H for hundredths. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So 10 tenths divided by 5. Then I've got to add in my 5 hundredths divided by 5. So 5 hundredths divided by 5. Now, all I did was I took these two things that I wrote down when I decomposed the number, and I put them in the division problem. I separated them apart, okay? So 10 tenths divided by 5. What's 10 divided by 5? 2. So I'm just going to write the answer to 10 divided by 5 and then copy my place value. 2 tenths. And we're still in unit form. So what's 5 divided by 5?
1.
1. So it's going to be 100. Write that down. So I've got my answers down below the parentheses. Do you see that?
Yep.
Now I'm going to come up with my final answer. And here's the strategy I'm going to use. So somewhere on your paper, write the ones place and then tenths and hundredths down. Kind of like money, but it's not money. Okay? So I've got 100th, so I'm going to put a 1 in the hundredths place. And how many tenths do I have?
2.
2 tenths. And what goes here?
0.
So the answer to my problem is 21 hundredths. And we're going to practice several of these, so you'll get the hang of it. So let's go down and do the next one. The first thing I need to do is put some equal signs on there, because we're going to need 3 equal signs. And then 3,000 15 thousandths is too hard for me to do. So I'm going to break it apart. I'm going to use 30 and 15. So all I need now is my place values on there. So 30 what? Tenths. Tenths. And 15 what?
Hundreds.
What?
Hundreds.
Thousandths.
Oh, thousands.
So I'm just going to put TH for thousandths. because I can't fit it there very well. Okay, now remember how we put numbers inside of parentheses last time? So I'm going to go ahead and put my parentheses on there, and then I'm going to put the numbers inside of them. So Zadie, what do I need to put in there first? Here it is, copy it down. What is it? 30 tenths. And what's my divisor, kids?
5.
Okay, so divided by 5. And then, how about Miguel? Miguel, what will I put in the next parenthesis? And it's this one right here. 15 thousandths, good. And am I still dividing by 5?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so what's 30 divided by 5?
6.
6, and you can take 5 times something equals 30. So that's 6. What's my place value here?
Tenths.
And I'm going to add, what's 15 divided by 5, Sitlali?
3. Oh, sorry.
What's 15 divided by 5? 3. 5 times 3 equals 15, right? So what's my place value here, Sitlali? Thousandths. With an abbreviation, right? Okay, so remember this strategy right here? So we're going to put ones place and then tenths and hundredths down. Go ahead and put your lines. Okay, so I've got 3. Ooh, I need thousandths, don't I? Okay, so add another line. I've got a 3 in the thousandths place. And I've got a 6 in the tenths place. So what do you think my answer is, Hudson?
0.6.
So how do I say that number, boys and girls? 600, 3 thousandths. Very good. Okay, I'm going to pause it there while we get our problem set. We'll practice some more of this. So let's take a look at the problem set. Now, it says complete the sentences with the correct number of units and then complete the equation. So A, this is unit form, but it's not just unit form. It's not a division problem anymore. What kind of problem is it? Multiplication. How do I know that? Groups of, right? Okay, so here's what it's saying. 4 groups of blank tenths equals 16 tenths. How about Isamar? What goes in the blank? 4. Now all I have to do is write 4 tenths in standard form. That's it. And you've got 3 like this on your exit ticket. So let's take a look at B. This says 8 groups of blank hundredths is 32 hundredths. Diamete. What goes on the blank? 8 times something equals 32. 4. This time it's not 4 tenths. What is it? 4 hundredths. Diamete, how do I write that? Good. Okay. I'll write the next one. We'll see if Laura knows it. 7 groups of blank thousandths equals 84 thousandths. She knows her 12s. Okay, so your 12 thousandths is written how, Lauren? Good. So did everyone figure out that 7 times 12 is 84?
Yeah.
Some of you already knew that.
Thank you.
Okay, so D. 5 groups of blank tenths equals 20 tenths. Cooper?
Oh, 4.
And 4 tenths, how do I write it?
0.4.
Okay, now I want you to take a look at the problems for number 2. A and C are going to need stars beside them. Why do you think?
There's something like
on your exit.
It's on the exit ticket. And the kids struggled with it because they were like, how is this similar? Well, on the exit ticket, I think it's 45 tenths instead of 42 tenths, okay? So on this one, I have no reason to decompose it. I can do 42 divided by 7, can't I?
Yes.
So I'm just going to write it in unit form. 42 tenths divided by 7. And 7 times what, Isaac, equals 42? 6. So now I write 6 tenths in unit form. And then do you remember that I have to write it in standard form after that?
Yep.
Okay. So go back and look at that. I think 2A on your exit ticket is similar. It's like 4.5 divided by something. Okay? All right, so let's look at B. B, if I change this to 264, it's going to be too hard for me, isn't it? So I'm going to decompose it. If I decompose this, I could decompose it into 2 and 64, or I could do 26 and 4. Okay, so I'm going to do 26 and 4. So this is 26 tenths and 4 what? Hundredths. And I squeezed it in. Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
And you know, before I was putting the box around it. If that helps you, then put the box around it. I'm taking out the tenths, okay? So if I take out the tenths, I've got 26 tenths. So I just copy down exactly what I wrote here. What's my divisor?
2.
So I'm dividing by 2. Then I'm going to add what goes in my next parenthesis. 4 hundredths. And what am I dividing by?
2.
2. Now I've got to get my answers to those two problems. Okay? So help me out. Miranda, do you have any idea what 26 divided by 2 is? I don't know where it is. Huh? 26 divided by 2. That's kind of a tough one. We don't have that one memorized. 13, awesome. So 13 tenths. Remember, your place value stays the same when you divide by a whole number. And then 4 divided by 2, Cesar? 2. What's my place value? Good. Okay, so now I've got some adding to do. What was that little strategy we used? Ones place, tenths, hundredths. I want to start with the hundredths, don't I? What digit goes in the hundredths?
2.
Okay. What do you think I do with the 13 tenths?
Add the 1 to the ones place and the 3 in the tenths.
Awesome. So 1 and 32 hundredths. Okay. So let's try the next one. This one's similar to the exit ticket because of the place values. Okay, so I want you to talk to your table group here. How am I going to decompose this number? Do I want to take out the tenths or do I need to take out something else? Talk to your table groups about it. Okay, table 4. What are you thinking? Huh? Well, I've got 12 ones and 64 hundredths, or I've got 126 tenths and 4 hundredths. Or I've got 110 and 264 hundredths. What makes the most sense? What can we do in our head? Ones. We can do the ones in our head. So we're going to do 12 ones and 64 hundredths. And here's what's similar to the exit ticket. The ones and the hundredths are how you're going to decompose the second one on the exit ticket. Okay? So that's why we put a star beside this. Okay, now I copy this down, and what am I dividing by? 2. Okay, so 12 ones divided by 2. plus 64 hundredths divided by 2. And if I wanted, I could have done tenths and then hundredths. But we're going to try and put 64 together. Okay, now we got to figure out the answers to these two problems. So are you writing your place values in there? Because that's very important. If you're skipping your place values, you won't be able to do the exit ticket.
This is easier than I thought.
Okay, so 12 divided by 2, what is it?
6.
And what's the place value?
1.
Ones. Okay. Who knows 64 divided by 2? Raise your hand if you know it. Lauren? She says it's 32. You guys agree? Okay, so now, same strategy, the ones place, tenths and hundredths. See if you can figure out where to put the 32 hundredths and the 6 ones. Alexis, what do you think? The 2 and the hundredths. Very good. Okay, how you doing?
Very good.
Okay, let's take a look at the next one. D. So on D, how would you decompose it? Tell your table group. Okay, I'm going to roll the dice. Hold on. Table 5. What do you think? She says the 42 and the 6. Now, the reason I can't do 4 and 26 is because I can't do 4 divided by 6, can I? You don't know how yet, but you will soon. Okay? So I'm going to do 42 what? Tenths. And 6 what? Hundredths. Okay, quit talking to each other. Okay, so tell me what to write, JJ, on the first slide.
42 tenths divided by 6.
Awesome. Plus, let's get another kid to help me. Jimena. What's the place value of the 6? Hundredths. Good. Okay, help me with my answers. Miguel. 42 divided by 6. 7. What's my place value? Good. And 6 divided by 6, kids? 1. I had some kids put 0 by accident on their exit ticket. Be careful. Okay? All right, so what am I? The ones place, the tenths, and the hundredths, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Jaden, tell me where to write the 1. Uh-huh. Good. And what goes here? All right, so what's the answer? 71 hundredths. Okay, let's look at the next page. Talk to your table group about how to decompose this one. Oh, I heard it already. My goodness, you guys are getting this. Okay, so we've got table 3.
Okay, so we're going to do 42 and 36.
Okay, I agree, don't you? They're both divisible by 6. So it's 42 what, kids?
42
Tenths. Then be careful on the next one. 36 what?
thousand.
Oh my goodness. He was ready. Okay, are you focusing?
Yep.
All right, so Ruby, tell me what to write on the first line. 42 tenths divided by what? What? What's my divisor? 6. Okay. How about Diego? What do I write next?
36,000.
And what is my divisor? Okay, help me with the answers. Sit lolly. 42 divided by 6. We've seen that before, haven't we? That might be the fact of the day. And 36 divided by 6. 6 times something equals 36. 6. What's my place value there? Be careful. Okay, so 7 tenths plus 6 thousandths. I've got to have the ones placed in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths this time. Ah. Zadie, you're my last stick. Where do I write the 6? In the thousandths place. Where do I write the 7? What do I fill in with? Who knows how to say that number? Say, Lolly, go ahead. 706 thousandths. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to pause it there. So looking at the exit ticket, it's very similar to what we've been doing, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, down at the bottom, very bottom, down to B. So remember we put the stars on our problem set? Okay. Look at B. Remember I said on the second one, on your exit ticket, you're going to do ones and hundreds? So if I'm doing ones and hundreds here, how am I separating this? 6 what?
Ones.
6 ones and 12 hundredths. You might want to go ahead and write that down now so you don't forget it. Everything else is pretty simple.
It seems very easy.
Yes. Now, I revised this. Oh, I was trying to get it to fit to. Okay, I revised this file and I forgot the word is here. John pointed that out to me. Need the word is right there. Okay? You think you know what you're doing, kids?
Yes.
Okay, bring it to me when you're finished, please.
Okay.